In August 1942, the Marines who waited ashore at Guadalcanal expected a fight they could see, but instead they entered a jungle crawling with ghosts. Japanese snipers hidden high in the canopy who turned the island into a vertical killing field where death arrived without warning and from angles impossible to trace. By the time the island was secured in February 1943, after-action reports revealed a truth that would haunt Pacific commanders for years. A single well-positioned sniper could inflict more casualties than an entire rifle squad. At Bougainville in November 1943, the 3rd Marine Division recorded an average of 15 men killed per day from sniper fire alone. Killed, not wounded. Because Japanese marksmen armed with the Type 97 rifle were trained to aim for the head and upper chest. Their wounds so consistent that Marine medics could identify a sniper victim before even examining the body. These snipers were nothing like the ones Marines had trained to fight. They weren't crouched behind rocks or firing from foxholes. They were 30, 40, even 60 feet up in palm trees, tied to trunks with rope, camouflaged with foliage, supplied with rice balls and water, and patient enough to sit motionless for days. Their fields of fire covered trails, water points, and command posts. Their discipline bordered on supernatural. At Cape Gloucester, a single sniper pinned down an entire platoon of 43 Marines for 7 hours, firing only 18 rounds, yet killing 4 men and wounding 6 more while surviving thousands of return shots, mortar fire, even a tank round the psychological toll was devastating. Marines developed what medics called sniper neurosis, a permanent crouched posture and instinctive terror of standing upright. Movement between positions became dangerous. Runners were shot instantly. Defensive perimeters broke down. One invisible man could paralyze a company, and the Japanese knew it. Their field manuals described snipers as force multipliers worth 10 infantrymen in jungle terrain, and by mid-1943, Marine intelligence had a 3-inch thick file on Japanese sniper tactics, but no solution for stopping them. That solution would come from a most unlikely source, a Nebraska carnival worker named Sergeant William Eldridge. Before the war, he ran the shooting gallery at the state fair, spending 20 years watching people instinctively shoot at moving targets, predicting when they would pull the trigger, and learning that shooters always took the bait. His skill set seemed useless in modern war, until Bougainville. On the 3rd day of the campaign, Eldridge's company was pinned down by an unseen sniper who had already killed 6 Marines in 90 minutes. While doctrine said to call for artillery or wait the sniper out, Eldridge noticed something familiar in the pattern of shots, something that reminded him of fairgoers trying to hit metal ducks. When he told his lieutenant he needed a helmet, a stick, and 2 minutes, the response was laughter and threats of insubordination. But Eldridge argued that they had already fired 3,000 rounds, called in mortars, and gotten 6 men killed by following the book. The turning point came when a wounded 17-year-old radio man was carried past, jaw shattered because he stood up for 2 seconds. The lieutenant finally muttered, "Fine, don't get yourself killed." Eldridge mounted a helmet on a branch, raised it above the log he was hiding behind, and slowly waved it like a Marine moving through underbrush. Within 2 seconds, the helmet snapped back, bullet hole clean through the steel. The sniper had taken the bait. Japanese doctrine taught ichi-ichihatsu, 1 target, 1 shot. Engage immediately, because hesitation meant detection and death. At combat distances, the human brain couldn't tell a real helmet from a fake one. When it appeared, moving naturally at 2 miles per hour, the reflex fired before conscious thought could intervene. Eldridge waved the helmet again. Another shot. A counter-sniper named Corporal James Henshaw watched the muzzle flashes, triangulated the position 40 feet up a palm tree, and dropped the Japanese marksman with a single .03 Springfield round. The Marines around Eldridge erupted into hysterical laughter, the kind that comes when something unbelievably stupid actually works. Within 48 hours, every company on the island knew about the Nebraska sergeant who hunted snipers with a helmet on a stick. Some officers dismissed it, but others demanded to see it. The chance came at Tarawa, November 1943, during some of the bloodiest hours of the Pacific War. With Japanese snipers picking off Marines who thought the area was secure, Eldridge's platoon was tasked with clearing a strong point. Instead of calling for air support and losing a dozen men in the assault, they used the helmet trick with proper coordination. 4 Marines waving helmets, while 4 counter-snipers waited behind them. The Japanese engaged instantly. In 2 hours, the decoys drew 47 shots, revealed 3 sniper positions, then lured more snipers from adjacent areas who thought they'd found a perfect ambush. By 10:30 a.m., 11 Japanese snipers were dead. Marine casualties, 0. 4 helmets riddled with holes, but not a single wounded man. The battalion commander watched the last hour in silence, then simply asked Eldridge, "Can you teach this?" The deeper implications of the tactic soon emerged. Japanese snipers carried only 120 rounds. Meant to last weeks or months due to poor supply lines, the decoys could burn through half that in a morning. When Marines captured sniper positions, they found ammunition pouches nearly empty, and notes warning soldiers to conserve rounds or die useless. By early 1944, Japanese snipers became hesitant, terrified of wasting ammunition on fake targets. They let Marines pass without firing, violated their own doctrine, and abandoned positions after emptying their pouches at decoys. Marine casualty rates from snipers plummeted. What began as one sergeant's ridiculous idea quickly became standard Marine Corps doctrine, renamed the Decoy-Initiated Counter-Sniper Protocol, dressed in bureaucratic language like expendable helmet-mounted extension device and realistic target silhouette presentation, but in practice, still just a helmet on a stick. Marines refined it further, weighting helmets for natural movement, dragging them instead of waving them, attaching fake antennae to draw fire on radio operators, even choreographing movement patterns like dance steps to trigger the enemy's reflexes. The Japanese tried to adapt, issuing memos advising snipers to verify neck shadows and natural gait. But verification required time, and time meant death. By late 1944, on Peleliu, entire companies advanced through sniper country using helmet decoys, drawing hundreds of wasted Japanese rounds while suffering only a handful of casualties. Captured maps from Iwo Jima showed sniper positions marked in red for critical ammunition shortage. 37 out of 43 were red. These weren't destroyed positions. They were still manned, but useless. Division medical officers later estimated that without the decoy tactic, the Marine Corps would have suffered at least 4,000 additional sniper casualties across the Pacific. Eldridge himself survived the war, barely, fighting through Okinawa, where his company took 68% casualties. By then, he had taught dozens of replacements the technique, waving helmets on sticks, while trying not to think about how something so obvious had become revolutionary doctrine. He returned to Nebraska in 1945, resumed running the Carnival Shooting Gallery, and answered questions about the war with the same line every veteran used. "Fine, it was fine. Let's talk about something else." When his Bronze Star citation arrived in the mail, praising his ingenuity and the lives saved, he read it once, put it in a drawer, and never mentioned it unless directly asked. His explanation was always the same. Shooters shoot at targets. We gave them fake targets. Not exactly rocket science, but it was rocket science, or behavioral psychology, neurology, and tactical exploitation wrapped in carnival intuition. Eldridge didn't know those terms. He just understood people, and people, even trained Japanese snipers, always shot at what looked like something they were supposed to shoot. The Marine Corps used versions of his tactic in Korea, Vietnam, and beyond. The principle remained unchanged: exploit enemy training with cheap deception. The most effective counter-sniper weapon of the Pacific War wasn't a rifle or a mortar. It was a helmet on a stick, held by a man who spent his life watching people shoot at moving ducks.